Is it time already?
Almost. We got 20 minutes. I like to go live a little early. They can just listen to us talk. I'll put in
That's true.
some.
Okay. Where's the button? Host. Hosting City Jester. Yes. Do it.
College coach. America's.
Yeah, thanks, Twitch. Already watching his stream, and Twitch is like, yeah, he's live now. Watch him. Watch him. I already do. So I'm writing down my favorites of each of each division.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction. Who is going to win in each division without even having seen one game? Because how? Just by the look of it.
Hey, welcome. What division are you in?
Hey, welcome.
AMC.
Oh, Norse. I played Norse in college as well.
Norse is a lot of fun. Ooh, that's an interesting start too.
That's a really interesting setup. What is this?
I mean, I kind of understand it,
Yeah, yeah.
but not optimal.
Ooh,
I like the theme, the Frozen Isle. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, the Yeti's great.
you have to go for the Yeti, in my opinion, as well. Yeah,
I don't personally, but
it's a big guy.
the the Yeti is a lot of fun though. Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to go buy the Berserkers later. So first thing I would buy would be a Berserker, then a runner.
Zerka, then Rona, then another Zerka. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't have to replace anyone, yeah, you don't have to replace linemen, right?
No. Uh,
So
Norse linemen are fantastic. It's like 6 movement, has block.
exactly,
Forget about it.
exactly. If they're dead, they're dead.
Yeah.
No one cares.
You only care about a lineman when they roll doubles and get guard.
Yeah.
Because Norse really need guard.
Yes. I remember the Yeti can do such an amazing job. I mean, my first game was against humans, and Yeti was hitting the ogre, and the ogre was dead after the game. So it was a good game. It was a good Yeti. Like that guy a lot. And it's another Frenzy piece, right? And Frenzy is amazing.
Yeah, well, Frenzy can be a little bit of a trap sometimes, but with Strength 4, nowhere near as much. No problem, man. You have a good one.
Have a good one. Oh, Norse is just... I still like them. I hate them and I like them. It
Yeah.
was fun playing them. But I still hate them.
Norse is actually one of my favorite teams.
They are a lot of fun. Surfing all day long.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I have permissions to drag him down.
Sorry?
Geo.
Oh, gee, does he have the tag? No, he doesn't have that. I had to give myself the tag for weekly recappers as well because you're not allowed to join us down
I
here.
wonder if I'm allowed to just add them to weekly recappers. They are recapping, so I'm just gonna
I
add
just
it.
did it to myself to join the booth here, so I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do, but I just did. So
I'll remove it if people complain.
yeah. I'm a study coach. I don't know anything about rules, right?
Where's Pez machine?
Can you just get people down here by dragging
Yeah,
them
see, that's what
like
I
in
tried to do. I
TeamSpeak?
didn't have permissions to drag people. I don't think
But
we're allowed to.
this is a thing in Discord as well. Okay, nice to know. I'm pretty new to Discord.
Okay.
Still pretty new to Discord. After half a year, still no idea about it. And he's in a pretty nice division
can
with
hear
this
me?
awesome man.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
Hey!
I added the weekly recapper role to you.
Thank you.
Since you and probably Sappho T will be doing your own div, you'll need it anyway.
Is this voice activity or push talk only?
Voice activity.
Awesome, because I'm currently using Discord on my phone.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna do the
I'm-
streaming rooms, but push to talk is annoying for me.
Yeah, that's fair, and I'm about to be turning off my PC and dismantling it, so yeah.
Yep, that's fair.
So I'm gonna be walking around the house with my headset on as I'm just hauling PC parts out to my car.
Yeah. You got a
But
mute
God
button for your
damn, that
headset?
game. No, I don't actually. But once we really get started, I can just set it to mute and then go from there.
Okay.
But damn, that game was intense.
Yeah, I was pretty close.
Probably closer than it should have been, like on both our accounts.
Yeah, he made some pretty bad plays, and you
He got
definitely
so
shouldn't have
greedy.
stalled.
Well, I wasn't so much stalling as not wanting to make the GFI.
Yeah, but
Which is-
like I said in chat, 3+2+2+ with reroll, like chances are he'll make it.
This is true. But in my life, that isn't usually how it works out. I forget my opponents don't have my dice.
Yeah.
Hindsight 2020.
His AG4 did a
Yeah.
lot of work in that game.
Oh, tell me about it. He did. Okay, it was what, a 2? Was it a 2-up dodge or a 3-up? No,
He
it was
did a
2-up.
2+ dodge, 3+ throw, 3+ catch, and then he did a
No,
3+ dodge, 2+ handoff.
No, it wasn't even just that. It was a 2-up dodge, 2 GFIs, a 3-up pass, or no, and then a 3-up catch.
Yeah.
And then next turn he did a 3-up, 2-up, 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 3-up.
I mean, honestly, that's not
Like-
like too bad because it's just 2+ and 3+s, but
Yeah. The fact he didn't even have to burn a single reroll. That was a kick in the teeth.
yeah.
Granted, dwarves are short, so all the kicks end up being in their teeth usually.
Got real lucky on the Apo.
Honestly, I was willing to take like some sort of perm as long as he didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already made a vow. I'm not going to fire any dwarves. It's death or nothing.
You say that, but when one gets like a minus strength or something like that, you're gonna want to fire him.
Nope, I've already said it. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
It's written down now.
But my death roller has not been like actually breaking any armor these last few games.
Yeah, well, he only has mighty blow, so
Yeah, but like when he's punching literally every turn, it's kind of like a break something already. Like even just get a stun.
yeah. The death roller is much more helpful on elves, but at the same time, elves make it to where your death roller doesn't stay on the pitch for very long.
Unless it's your offense.
It's a mixed bag.
Like I really needed my offense drive to go better for me. Like I got 2 KOs and both of them stood up. And then next round I get a single KO and he stands up.
Yeah, it didn't go too well for you on the cast, but you got plenty of AV breaks overall to score.
Yeah, I got a couple really useful stuns. But like overall, like that was a weird game in terms of injuries. Like not even Kaz, but just injuries.
Yeah.
Because he broke my armor, what, like 5-6 times maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah,
was throwing a lot of blocks.
to get kind of, since we have all three of you have never done recapping before, I kind of want to go over before we start in about 5 minutes. I kind of want to go over everything. So I don't think you guys are division admins. So if you just pull up my stream and have it muted, you can take a look and see what I'm gonna be showing you guys. And it's just general how you do recapping for majors at least. And it'll give you guys a general idea of what to do in the future if you decide to do recapping without me, because the plan is to get you guys running recaps without someone like a mod running it for you.
Yeah, the ones I usually see tend to use the REBBRL website.
I like to use the in-game client because I just think it looks nicer in general.
It
That's
does.
fair.
Easier to read.
Any advantages going one way or the other?
It's easier to move around on the website, but it doesn't look as clean, and the website doesn't have everything up to date always when you're doing a recap, which is a problem.
Gotcha.
But you can do either one, whichever one you guys prefer. I prefer client. But yeah, if you guys are looking, for example, like we'll go to Division AMA. The general idea is when they have their schedule, which will probably happen today or tomorrow, they're gonna start the competition, and the schedule will be here, and you just go over each match, and then go over the teams, and then guess who's gonna win. And that's literally recapping. Talk about the teams. You get people's opinions on what happened. When it goes from pre-cap to recap, you recover last week's games. And point out anything that might have happened, like a lot of casts or something on those lines. And then you go over the next week's games and guess who's going to win is typically what I do. For majors, I have a tipping competition, but I have too many divs for me to do that. So.
What do you mean by a tipping competition? Like, I'm actually kind of curious about that.
I can put a link in.
Well, I was just kind of curious as to what you meant exactly by that.
So I have a Google spreadsheet basically, and that might not actually work. Yeah, it works. And basically, you guess who is going to win each week, and you accumulate points, and you have a leaderboard, and whoever's at the top gets bragging rights.
All right. And in my experience of watching recappers, usually the role of the recapper is to call to arms everybody to murder specific pieces.
No. Typically, no. That's not what I do on mine. If you want to do that, that's fine. Like, some people get stat freaks and you say, hey, like, this team needs to... guys really need to take this guy out. But generally, it's more... I talk about strategy. Who looks better going into it and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself for 1 minute. I'll be back in probably about 5 minutes.
All right.
And you have a typical like time that's usually the best time to do the recaps, or
honestly, this isn't a great time to do recaps because most people in like America are going to be at work right now. It's noon on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Like it's the best time for me because I do my normal recaps for majors at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And
it's the best time for us Europeans, though.
Yeah. So my plan is like you guys I can link this pre-cap, and we might not get a ton of people watching it live for this one, but the general idea is to help like you as a college coach get more comfortable in talking about teams and understand what you need to do. So when you're ready to cover your own div, it's a lot smoother. And then once you're covering your own div, you can schedule it whenever you want, like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Gotcha. Cause I knew with like, is it every Wednesday when they roll over the new weeks?
Yeah. So most people like to do recaps on Tuesday or Wednesday because all the games are done and no new games have happened yet. Like in majors, most people will do recaps around 3 or 4, like 3 to 5 p.m. on a weekday, maybe a little later.
Gotcha.
Because 6 p.m. on Wednesday, chances are all games are done. So everybody and most people will be off work. So most people can join at that time.
Yeah, that makes sense. If anything else for any other questions for you before we get going?
I remember the recaps for the college European division that I was in last season. Happened Thursdays at 7 p.m. for the last week. I think that's maybe a bit. They did it over the homepage because I think in game it could be a bit hard, right? Because if there are new games played in between Wednesday and Thursday, yeah, you don't see the actual team anymore, or the team that you're talking about because of the game they played.
Hey, Logan. Yeah. Yeah, but so we're gonna get started at this point. It's 12 o'clock, so we're starting off on Division AMA. We don't have the schedule yet, sadly, but we can go over each team. So starting off, I guess we'll go with the Beer Brets. I don't exactly understand their uh, theme, but looking at the team, we have a very typical start: 4 blocker, 4 blitzer, 3 linemen, 2 re-rolls. Um, Nothing really special to say about the team. It's your typical Brett team. Uh,
Okay, I'm back.
do you guys
They
have?
have beer in it, so I like them.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Void.
Yeah, Bretts are one of those teams in my experience that tends to be like annoying to deal with early on, but once people start getting experience on their teams and learning the game, Bretts heavily fall off.
Yeah, thanks for the follow, Logan. But yeah, Bretts are great if you get stat ups. Otherwise, they have difficulty um, keeping themselves relevant in higher TVs. Once you hit about 1400 TV, they start falling off pretty hard. The biggest issue is that your blitzers don't have strength access, and your blockers who have strength access start with wrestle, which is pretty rough. And Mighty Blow is not great on wrestle, so you usually spam guard on wrestle on your blockers, and you get dodge first level on your blitzers. If you get a double on your blitzer, you take Mighty Blow. And then you have a pretty good team for the early TVs. Once you get stat ups, like if you get an agility 4 blitzer or a strength 4 blitzer, your team starts becoming very relevant at that point. My mentor actually last season, or Minty last season, played Brett's, and he got an agility 4 blocker that he wanted to meme with, so I told him to take leap. So now he has a sacking blocker, and it is beautiful. All right, I guess we'll go to the next team. We have your typical orc team. It looks like. I don't like the fan factor. A lot of people think that they have to start at 1000 TV, so whoever he has as a mentor hopefully will tell him to get rid of that fan factor. Or if he listens to this, I would recommend him get rid of that fan factor. Keep the 10k, because that means you only have to roll 4 to get 50,000 to buy your apothecary, which is very important. But yeah, pretty standard. He decided to go with the thrower I'm one of the people that agree that a thrower is necessary on a fresh orc team because you don't want to spend re-rolls. If he doesn't roll stat ups, eventually you just fire him. Oh, hello, Midas. But yeah, nothing real special about the team.
So what's the other start then? If you don't do with a thrower, what's the
Otherwise, you would start with 3 linemen, and you would have 30k left over. And so if you roll a 2 on winnings, you're almost guaranteed an Apo after the first game at that point. The thrower isn't very good. It's armor 8, movement 5, and it's slower than a blitzer. It's worse than the dwarf runner, for example. If they gave the thrower 6 movement or upped him to armor 9, he would be more worth it. But instead, you see the lineman is just better stat line, has armor 9. You can just take first level sure hands if you want sure hands and just have a lineman carry. But most people like to carry on a blitzer because they have faster movement and block, and so they don't get sacked as often.
Gotcha.
Or you could do a proper start and start with a troll.
Yeah, the troll is actually really hard to fit in on a starting roster.
And that's true.
It's just like you'd have to get rid of 2 black orcs to get the troll.
Okay, quick question. Am I coming through clear now?
No, you kind of sound like a radio.
Well, yeah, I'm having to use Bluetooth radio.
Okay.
Like, if it's real bad, I can just mute myself and kind of listen in and have to join next time.
Yeah, you might want to just listen in because it's you're clear but not in good quality.
That's fair. Might try something else, though. I'd have to consider it. Anyway,
Alright.
back to silence.
Police control on Highway 4.
But yeah, the no troll is sad. I like trolls. Orc teams, though, unfortunately can't really fit the troll at first. Once you get higher TV, like for example, after like 4 or 5 games, if he has good development and he has a ton of money and nothing to spend it on, you buy a troll.
You just get rid of the blitzers, right? Get a troll. You don't need blitzers.
Who needs block?
Exactly.
Alright, let's go to the next team. We have humans, the
Which I like.
Mordhau Manglers from Master Grax.
Because this guy's a proper coach, right? He is a proper coach. There's the ogre.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, I don't play humans a lot, but I think ogres are 100% required to play humans. They need
True,
the strength. Yeah. He has also a very stereotypical start for blitzers, a thrower, ogre, and lineman. You don't really need a catcher at the start. You want to focus on SVP development on your blitzers. The thrower picks up and walks around with it and hands off to a blitzer for the score. I don't understand the theme, so hopefully he can tell me later in a PM or whatever what the theme is. But yeah, pretty standard. No fan factor, saving for an apothecary. Next game, he's guaranteed it.
To the human coach, if he does watch this, if you do lose your ogre early, do not assume that your team is just dead. We had a human team on our college league that lost his ogre game 1, and he ended up placing about middle of the pack.
Well, yeah. You still replace the ogre as fast as possible, but yeah, losing the ogre by no means doesn't mean that you're going to lose. He's just incredibly helpful. It's our radio chatter, you know.
normal radio sounding?
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it. I'm using my headset mic. I wonder why it's doing that.
Bad connection, maybe?
It could be low bars.
Yeah.
I'll keep my contributions minimal then.
Seriously, you could tell me he's driving a lorry down the highway, and I would believe him, right?
I mean, I'm on a country road, but not too far off.
Roger, Roger.
Yeah, that's 10-4, good buddy.
Yeah, I did. He was loud at first, so I kind of made him quieter. But now I will re-put him up. You might want to mute yourself while you're not talking, Gio.
Oh, is it detecting me real bad?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's a pretty normal team. It's hard to know what to expect from college coaches because I don't know how experienced you guys are. I'm assuming that you don't have a lot of experience. Thanks for the follow, Midas Hand.
I can confirm that. That's definitely the truth.
Next, we'll go to the Norse, the Starry Sluggers, who are named after constellations, and I really like that theme. He went for a more atypical start: 2 reroll 1 apothecary, 2 ulfs, yeti, and a runner. A lot of people like the yeti. It seems like they like the big guy.
From my experience, yeah, the Yeti is killing people in 2 out of 10 games, and in the other 8 games, he's just sitting there and watching at the grass growing or whatever he's doing.
He's
But
yelling
doing
at the
nothing.
grass.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you like some guys? One thing about the well, access Norse, and you may only one in game, but Norse relies on momentum. They like waited.
Yeah, you're cutting out pretty bad, Gio.
God damn it! Did the gist of what I said?
No.
Ah. Basically,
Gio is useless. He's just useless. Damn.
well, basically, the part that
You're still cutting in and out, man.
He can't even defend himself.
okay, I turned down my sense. Am I going through clear now?
A little better.
Okay. Basically, he's really good against high armor, and Norse relies so much on removals and momentum that they really appreciate the claw action.
Oh yeah. That's what the Yeti's for. I don't really like starting with big guys unless if I have to, typically, just because nega traits are pretty bad. But yeah, like first level Juggernaut, because unless if you get a doubles, then it's block, and if you get a doubles on block, the next level you get Mighty Blow. It's not reliable to take Mighty Blow, so that's why I'm not a huge fan of big guys usually, or Claw if you're playing Chaos. But yeah.
So you're telling me that I picked guard on my Yeti. That was a bad idea, yeah? Because my mentor told me that as well. And I still think that wasn't the worst idea, right?
Well, so the Yeti is typically meant for either blitzing a lot or guard. There's 2 ways to build a big guy. You have your killer big guy and your roadblock big guy. So if you want him to be a roadblock, you go guard, stand firm. If you want him to be a killer, you go Juggernaut's break tackle, typically. He has claw, so you would go Juggernaut, Mighty Blow, break tackle. Assuming no doubles. If you get a double on a big guy, you can take block, and then his next level, he can, especially for something like a Yeti, which starts with claw, you can next level take mighty blow and have a claw mighty blow, just in 2 levels, which is really nice. But yeah, guard is the other way. Typically, I build my Ulfs with block guard, and then if I do have a Yeti, since I get him later, I build him into a roadblock personally. So he goes guard, stand firm. So you get 3 guard on the team, and that's typically enough for Norse to be able to do some pretty good damage.
Yeah, I was lucky with SPP on the Ulf, so they hadn't gained any levels. And I thought guard is necessary for this team as well.
Yeah, like you really need it because you're strength 3, and
Exactly.
because the Ulfs are strength 4, you can go block guard, stand firm on them, and they can be pretty good roadblocks themselves. And with guard, it's pretty nice. All right, next
And by
team.
the way, yeah, theme is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
theme
I
is really
really
lovely.
like the theme. So far, it's my favorite. Next, we have Undead with Grave Nation. I don't understand his theme either. Well, I know some of them. Smeagol, Shredder, Skeletron. I understand those references.
I've heard about Jesus.
Oh, Jesus is in there. I didn't even see him. Yeah.
I like this
Ah.
undead start. I like that very much.
People who have died. Okay. I guess that makes sense with Grave Nation. Did Skeletron die?
Honestly, it felt like a music theme to me.
Yeah. I didn't know Skeletron died. Spoilers.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm on
already
Skeleton.
annoyed though because this is just a mess of your zombie. You have your zombies here and then a skeleton here. Like I feel like the mummies should be on top, then your whites, then your ghouls, and then your zombies, and then your single skeleton, which I'm guessing is for dirty player. But yeah, it's a really standard start. 2 ghouls, 2 whites, 2 mummies. It's pretty nasty to deal with. Undead are pretty good at early TV bash because of the 2 strength 5 mighty blows with no nega trait.
So as we got a few people in here, let's get the discussion going: skeleton versus zombie. Because I'm the skeleton guy. Let's get more skeletons than zombies.
Skeletons are depending on what you're facing, skeletons are better. Like if you're going against Chaos, who has Claw Palm, the Claw is worthless on a skeleton, and you have Thick Skull, which means
Exactly.
you get removed less. If you're going against like elves who have no mighty blow, then zombies are just better to withstand. A lot of people will say 3 zombies for the LOS, and then the rest skeletons. Some people, because zombies are great for just fodder.
I can't remember. I haven't gotten a ton of experience with undead. Don't undead get free players when a player on the enemy team dies?
Yes, a zombie.
So do Necromantic and Nurgle.
So what you
Yeah,
said, that's my
no,
favorite start with the 3 zombies as well. Yeah, I like that very much. And get skeletons then after that because of the more movement as well, right?
Yeah.
Because 4 movement sucks.
Yeah, 4 movement is pretty awful. I can attest that as a Necromantic player. But yeah, it's really standard. When I play, if I do play Undead, which I don't think I even played 1 game, my plan would be to take 3 zombies and 2 skeletons.
So why do they tend to fall off at higher TV?
They fall off the higher TV because mummies don't get general access. So if you don't never roll a double on a mummy, it's just a strength 5 with guard and stand firm. It's not that good. Whereas, with a single double, werewolves have claw mighty blow, which is better than a mummy with movement 8. The flesh golems have general access, so with more levels, the flesh golems will be generally better than the mummies as well. The mummies are super slow with 3 movement, so it's very easy just to box them in. And yeah, so they have a lot of issues with keeping their team upright, just because everything is slow except their whites and ghouls. They just fall off. If you get stat ups and really good levels, like any undead team will be still very scary. But at most, having like 1 killer and then just like 4 mighty blow, it's not really that scary of a team because they don't have claw.
Yeah, I think if you have those mummies and you don't roll doubles and they are at level 3 without any doubles, you just release them, get a new one.
Yeah, cycle it. They'll still level relatively quickly because they have mighty blow.
Exactly, that's the reason for it.
All right, so next we're gonna have Atomico with his Lizardmen. His team name is Montezuma Blood. I'm guessing that is a Aztec thing? Inca? I'm not culturally suave enough to be able to give a great answer for that. It's a very basic start. 6 Saurus, a Croxigore, 4 Skinks. Again, I'm not too pleased with the order. The Skinks should be at the bottom. Oh, there's a button right here that says switch players. You just click that, then click one of the players, and then click where you want them to go. It's a pretty awful system.
It's one of the worst.
Yeah.
It's just one of the worst. It takes you 2 minutes to sort your team that it looks nice. It just takes 2 minutes of your life.
Yeah. So like after a game, like I like to order mine in SPP order, like who has the most SPP. So let's say someone gets an MVP and he's like at the bottom right here, and now he's supposed to be like right here. You have to switch him there, and then the guy who had 4 SPP is now here, so you have to switch him here, and then you have to reshuffle everybody, and it's a nightmare.
Thank you so much. I'm not the only one that's doing this bullshit.
I mean, I do it. I just put my bullshit pieces at the top, so whenever anybody checks my team, they immediately just see like all the stats.
It's the worst part of managing your Blood Bowl team, for sure. Absolutely awful. But yeah, I don't get the theme. Especially like this random Arnold. You have all these cool like Aztecian names, and then Arnold.
How do you
Arnold
know
will
that
die
Arnold
fast.
isn't a Sakian name?
Arnold will be the first to die.
Maybe Arnold is a Sakian king or something like that. How could you know?
That's true.
I mean, you say that. Watch Arnold be the only skink that doesn't get cycled because he rolls luck and a plus strength and a plus agility.
Maybe. Yeah, an agility movement skink makes me sad. They're disgusting. But yeah, I like the names and everything. The Arnold makes me laugh. In all honesty. It's just like one is not like the rest. But yeah,
hey
very
Arnold, I love it. It reminds me of my childhood because I'm just thinking of Hey Arnold, and I love it.
Yeah. So we have High Elves next. Corrupt City Council by Code Guy. The Blitzers are separated. Very standard start. 2 Blitzer, 2 Catcher, 1 Thrower. The rest linemen. It's a typical Elf team. I like the theme. Everybody who can be Everyone that's a part of the city council that's corrupt, including the milkman. You can't trust him. Yeah, I actually really like the theme on this one. It's funny. It's fun.
Was this one covered 2 days ago? Like, I don't remember this theme. Like, that seems like one that would stick out.
So when the pre-cap done by Cool Kiwi and Hayate, not everybody had accepted their tickets. He probably accepted it later.
He was on there, but it's because the next one was just that much better. It overshadowed it.
Oh,
Was
I'm
it?
guessing next is the waifu.
No, it's the pyramid scheme guys.
Ah,
Oh, okay. But yeah, I like the theme. It's a very standard build. Try and level the blitzers as fast as possible. Because, sure, your catchers are important, but getting blodge on your blitzers is even more important. Catchers will level fast. They have 8 movement. You throw to them, they catch the ball, they run into the touchdown zone. 2 turns, lickety split. The catchers will level fast. You really want to level the blitzers as fast as you can before you get a lot of people. But other people with levels, then it just becomes harder and harder for the blitzers to level. If you get a double, take Mighty Blow on your catchers. If you get a double on your blitzers, take Guard.
If you
Pro
get a
Elves and
double on
High
your
Elves.
lineman, get Mighty Blow.
I like Guard on my lineman, but there's, room for Mighty Blow on a lineman, I guess. But the reason for this is because Blitzers have movement 7 and armor 8 and start with block. With 2 levels, they're blodge step. Which means that they're very hard to keep down, and so they're great for marking people. So if they don't have tackle, they have to roll a 6 to knock you down, and so they're great at marking. Your catchers have movement 8, so they can move 5 squares, punch something, and then move back 3 and be safe. The movement 8 lets them run around the field and punch things and not lose, and not get hit, basically. Your Mighty Blow, or your Blitzer, wants to go behind the line of elves after he blitzes so he doesn't get hit himself. Alright, so next is Pyramid Scheme with Bones Deckard. I love Kimmery. Boris. Okay, yeah, this is a great theme. Yeah, he has a very standard start. It is a little weird that he did not take a throw raw. So I guess it really isn't standard. I'm not sure why he decided to go without a throw raw. He needs one.
I remember Hayate and Kiwi saying it's potentially better to start without one because it forces you to carry on your blitzers to get them their early levels.
Yeah, the problem is that you're agility 2, so you want to have assurance on being able to pick up a ball. A 75% chance is way better than a 50% chance.
And after your first game in the rain with Camry without sure hands, I mean, it's the worst yeah, it's just the worst. But without sure hands, oh lord.
Yeah. Like, it,
I mean,
it becomes awful.
Doesn't it have sure hands and pass?
Yes, but no one uses pass. Well, they do, and it always works because it's always the desperation play. It's called Kimry bullshit. But yeah, this is a somewhat common team. I don't personally agree with it. I would have taken a throw raw.
I would have gone for the one throw raw start as well. I think you need sure hands. It saves your rerolls as well.
Yeah. Like, I think he got a reroll instead of the throw raw. I think that's how that works. Not 100. I'm not 100% on that.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't quite remember what the build is with one throw raw, but I like having one throw raw because You know, sure, I'll pick up on a blitz run and score with him, no problem. But like, if you're actually being forced to pick up a ball and you've already used a reroll, like leaving it up 50-50, I don't like that. The sure hands is too important for that, in my opinion.
And well, no, you need the rerolls with Camry because you're going to do the 2 dice with your Tomb Guardians all day long,
Yeah.
and there will be the both downs and double skulls and whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you get doubles on Tomb Guardians, you take block immediately. Otherwise, you take Mighty Blow. If you like killing, you go Mighty Blow Piling On. Otherwise, you go like Mighty Blow Guard or Mighty Blow Stun.
Forget the otherwise part. It's about killing all the people, right?
I descend into the red mist myself. My Kimry team is typically, just to go down the list here, Mighty Blow Piling On, Mighty Blow Piling On, same, Mighty Blow Piling On, same, dirty player, dirty player, dirty player, dirty player, dirty player. And you just foul and kill everything in sight. If they don't have players, they can't score, which means you score.
Exactly. That's how you should play Camry, in my opinion.
It's the most fun. It's not actually the most viable way to play Kimry at all, but it is the most fun, in my opinion. And for you, at least. Your opponent might not like you.
I remember there was a Camry with Mighty Blow and Pylon, and it kind of got made fun of, but it also ended up having like the highest body count of people, like of actual deaths.
Yeah, Piling On is actually considered the best skill for killing in the game. So. And our next one is Murder United. And it's a whole bunch of serial killers, and yes, that's what I was hoping for when I saw Murder United. 4 Chaos Warriors, a whole bunch of Beastmen, 3 rerolls, no Apo. It's your standard Chaos start. It's really the only start. Never go Mino.
Why not?
It's just not worth losing Chaos Warriors to it.
That and the only other thing you could sacrifice is rerolls if you really don't want to lose
Exactly.
those.
Yeah, you have 0 block, you need your rerolls. Like, it's just not worth grabbing the minnow. I don't think there's a single team in Majors that has a Mino on their Chaos team, other than one. Yeah. Chaos Warriors are good. Beastmen are good. You have 100% strength access. You suck at first because you have 0 block, but once your Chaos Warriors all have block and you have like a Claw Palm, Beastman, everybody hates you. I like the theme, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, serial killers. Pretty cool. Nothing fancy, just your typical Chaos team. Overall, this division, you have 9 out of 10 people right now, so that's pretty good, almost completely done. Just no. And how's it going, Sappho? It's not really worth it to grab Minnow on Chorfs, because the Minotaur on Chaos Wars only gets mutations on doubles, which makes it very not worth it. Because you can't get tentacles. You can't be a proper mutation roadblock. The only teams that get the Minotaur are Chaos Dwarfs, and Chaos is just really not good. Yeah, the Minotaur is really bad on Chaos Dwarfs. You have 2 Bull Centaurs. You have 2 Strength 4. There's no real reason to get the Minotaur. Like, if you get the Minotaur, you can't start with all your blockers. It's just if it was cheaper, it'd be worth it on Chaos, but he's too expensive. You have to give up a reroll and a Chaos Warrior in order to buy the Minotaur, which just is not worth it.
Now, I have heard people say he does have a niche where if you do manage to save up enough money and not have to cycle players to get, so that you can get like Prehensile Tail tentacles and just make elves miserable.
Yeah. That's just the roadblock. Beast of Nurgle at that point. And if you want to play like that, you play Nurgle, so because you start with a Beast of Nurgle on that team, and it's fantastic. But yeah, overall, this team is kind of bashy, but not. Yeah, I would say this division is pretty bashy in all honesty. Orc, Norse, Undead, Chaos, Kimmery, Lizardmen. Lizardmen really bash their control, but you only have one elf team so far, and a human team and a Bretonnian team as your non-bashy teams. So this is going to be an interesting division. Once everybody starts getting development, I'm going to feel really bad for the Norse specifically, because if their AV7 doesn't hold, they're in for a rough division. Very rough division. Yeah, that covers AMA division. Let us move on to AMB, which is also 9 out of 10 teams. Good job on accepting your tickets. Which div? AMA or AMB? Yeah, a lot of blood in AMA. I completely agree, Void. This one is looking pretty bashy too, in all honesty. Norse, Dwarf, Lizard, Chaos, Necro, Undead. Yikes. We're going to start with Sappho T and his Bretts. Typical start in proper order. I don't get the theme. You might have to explain that to me, Sappho. But yeah, it's a pretty standard start. 4 blitzer, 4 blocker start. Oh, the Brady Bunch. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, pretty standard team, in all honesty. It's Brett's. I hope you get. I'm gonna say the same thing I did last time with the previous Brett team. Wrestle strength access kind of sucks because you want Mighty Blow on your strength access people, but he has wrestle, so it's not as reliable. So you usually take guard on a blocker, and on your blitzers who don't have strength access because they have block and dauntless, you really want Mighty Blow. So on doubles, you take Mighty Blow on your blitzers. Otherwise, you take dodge. Maybe one with sure hands for picking up. The Brady Bunch. But yeah, Bretts are pretty strong at the start. They're a pretty good TV 1000 team. Once you get higher in TVs, they become really bad. You really want stat ups on your blitzers. That's what make Bretonnians really good. They're probably the most stealthy Agi 3 team in my opinion, because you get 4 people with Agi access. They have catch.
Whoops, didn't mean to leave. Meant to unmute. Wouldn't Zons be the most elf-like?
Yes, but Zons have AV7 and they die. Horrible deaths. Like, Zons are good, but once you get to high TV, Bretts are better. Because Tackle just ruins Amazons. And Amazons need stats more than Bretts do, in my opinion. Alright, we have a Norse team, Blood, Sweat, and Beers. This is my preferred start on a Norse team. Yeti, 2 Ulfs, 2 Berserkers, some linemen, 2 rerolls, no Apo. Go hard or go home.
Get all the frenzy pieces and surf them all.
Pretty much. And I don't suggest you play Norse like I do, which is just base, base, base.
I will say I've tried this start a couple of times. It really hinges on that first game. If you get a perm or a death on one of your positionals, you've basically put yourself in a worse position than if you had just started with the safe start.
Honestly, it's not too bad. Like, let's say you lose a Berserker, not a big deal. Like, he only costs 90k. One game, you have your Apo, you buy your Apo, and you're running still with, 7 block. So you're still a good team because of the amount of block you have.
What about the wolf?
Ulfs typically won't die because of Strength 4, AV8. If one dies, you're still okay, honestly. Like, last time I played Norse was in Upstarts, and second game I lost my Ulf, and it took until the 5th game, final game, to buy an Ulf, and I was still fine. I came in second because what else? And Strip Ball beat me. But yeah. Pretty standard. I like the theme. It's pretty cool. I have a dwarf team called the Beard Stained Beards that has a similar theme. And yeah, that's ours. Next we have dwarves, one of my favorite teams. The Stone Fist Smashers.
No, no, Death Roller, you're doing it wrong.
The Death Roller is awful.
No.
As somebody who has a roster Death Roller, I can confirm it is awful, but I have committed to the bit, and I've got to wait for it to either die or not roll doubles on its second level up to fire it.
Yeah, it is pretty awful. You have your standard dwarf start, 3 rerolls, 2 troll slayers, 2 blitzers, 2 runners, some long beards, and block for days. Level the troll slayers as fast as possible. Get guard on everything but your troll slayers and runners. Laugh as people try and knock you out, but Thick Skull prevents it.
And remember to buy the Death Roller as soon as possible because your team is lacking one.
I mean, they could just roll stats. Apparently, that's like the best way to make everybody hate you in your div.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah.
Like, I haven't even hit majors, and people are already putting bounties on my pieces.
That's what happens when you have a Strength 5 Troll Slayer. People don't like you.
Well, it's not my fault.
Well, they don't like.
About what
I rephrase that. It's not that they don't like you. They don't like your Troll Slayer and want him to die a horrible death because it's not fair. But yeah.
But you know, I will say I'm personally rooting for this team. I love the theme. Like, I hope they get some good dice. Like, I will highly recommend not going the Death Roller. It's good for the memes, but even a base level gives away a free wizard, and that is a very easy way to lose pieces, even though I don't know that from experience.
Yeah, that's very true. So Logan here is saying that his theme is essentially the lizardmen heroes that were forced into retirement from fighting when the old world died, deciding to form a Blood Bowl team. I don't remember what that event was called in Fantasy. Yeah. End Times, that's right. I know, like Krokgar, Oxyotl. Yeah, those are the only ones I recognize. Gore Rock. Mostly for Warhammer 2. Total War. But yeah, standard team 6, Saurus, Karoxic Gore, Skinks, 2 rerolls. I would get rid of the fan factor. You don't need it. It's just 2. You don't have to be at 1000 TV. You're allowed to be at 980. Keep that 20k, so you only have to roll 3 for an apothecary on your first game to get that, because you want an apothecary as fast as possible, just in case something awful happens. The fan factor doesn't help you in the long run. You're going to get it naturally, and you're going to curse it when you have more fan factor than someone else, and that's the reason why you have more TV than them. That was the old meta, Void, actually. Fan factor used to do a lot more things, so you would just start with like 11 line elves and 9 fan factor, and that would work.
So I know in Kiwi's recap, there was like a bunch of teams with 5 fan factor to starting off with.
Yeah, well, 950. They might not think they need an apothecary, so they grab 5 fan factor. It's a pretty common mistake that new coaches make.
Which is honestly kind of weird, because like even when I was new, it was just like, oh, a chance to not have a player just instantly die mid-game. Yes, I would like it.
Yeah, so, and this is something that I was about to touch on, Void. A lot of old guides would say take 5 fan factor, but they're talking about Blood Bowl tabletop, not Blood Bowl 2, which is something to consider when you're looking at old guides. I don't remember the exact version or release of Blood Bowl. That fan factor was really good, but the version Blood Bowl 2 is running off of, you don't want fan factor. It can be helpful for some things, but it's not worth putting points in.
Pitch invasion. Ugh.
Yeah, pitch invasion. But I get security gates for that. Alright, next is Ball Boy Blue with his Chino Pin Raiders. I don't get his theme. It has something to do with Southern stuff. But yeah, he has a pretty standard Chaos Warrior team. Like 4 Chaos
Aren't
Warrior.
these the lost boys from Peter Pan?
Are they? Oh, I guess there is Peter Payne. Yeah, it can affect winnings. It used to affect winnings more, though. But yeah, it's your standard 7 Beastmen, 4 Chaos Warrior team, 3 rerolls. It probably is a Peter Pan theme. I don't really watch Peter Pan. Never did as a kid. I watched Hook. But I'm in my 30s, and I watched that like when I was a young boy, and I don't remember it. Yeah, that's what a lot of people will think as well. Next team is the Silverback, and I'm aware of touchdowns. Pun. Beautiful. I love it. And I think he went with auto-named people, and that makes me sad. That's so sad.
I don't
Okay.
like this team now anymore.
I love the name. I'm aware of touchdowns. Great. It's a pun.
Yeah, that's great, but the player names.
The
no
player
way.
names, and as a Necro coach, if you watch this, I strongly recommend you fix your roster. I'm going to be a Necro mentor, so I might be getting you. I don't know, but you have to start with your flesh golems. You
I
have a
just wanted to ask where are the flesh golems. Yeah, that's
you
interesting.
have a 13 player roster. You don't have any flesh golems. You are not going to win games, or you can win games. Don't get me wrong, but you're gonna fall off real hard. The flesh golems are very important in your team. Um, Necro revolves around protecting your werewolves because they're the most important positionals. And your flesh golems start with the thick skull and stand firm with strength 4, and they are your protectors. They're hard to get SPP on because they don't start with block, but once they get block, guard, they're wonderful pieces. Um,
Even just stand firm early on is enough to throw a wrench into people's plans because it's not something you tend to see until mid TV.
yeah,
And then it's like, oh yeah, they have stand firm. I can't do the chain push I was going to do.
yeah. Drop zombies. Kill 2 of them off. Delete your ghouls. Buy 2 flesh golems. Well, don't delete 2 zombies. Remove your ghouls. Add you have 13 players, so yeah, you need to remove 4 and add 2 flesh golems. So remove 2 zombies and your ghouls. The ghouls are nice. Don't get me wrong. If you want to win your first season, start with 1 ghoul and 1 wolf, and go with a 3 reroll team. If you want to have good development on your team for a longer, in the long run, you start with a 2 reroll, 2 werewolf team, because you really need to get the SPP on your wolves. The ghouls hog SPP because they start with dodge, and typically people will carry on the ghouls instead of the wolves, and the wolves start with claw. So you want to level them as fast as possible, get block, hopefully get a double, grab mighty blow on them, and then cycle the wolves if after 3 levels they don't get mighty blow.
Or you could be like some of the teams I've seen and get a plus agility plus movement wolf for your first 2 levels
Yeah,
and just leave everybody in the dust.
skip the movement, in my opinion, on that still. Movement 8 is good enough. The only thing faster than you is a wood elf catcher and a gutter runner. Like, movement 8 is very fast. The agility, if you get a stat up, like agility or strength, obviously you keep that werewolf. If you get a double, you grab mighty blow immediately, no matter what, even first level. Mighty blow is more important than block. But yeah, you have to start with the 2 flesh golems. Alright, some Warlock and his High Elves with Silver Bay Ospreys. I like the names. They're all puns. It's
He's
wonderful.
my favorite in that division.
Yeah, this is my favorite as well. This is the best theme. He went with a 1000 TV start. Didn't go with any catchers, just 2 blisters and a thrower to maximize his apothecary. A lot of people, when they do that, won't grab the apothecary. Instead, grab the team reroll. I would suggest you do the same. After your first game, your team reroll is going to cost 100k. So it's a lot harder to buy that 3rd team reroll. I would start with a 3rd reroll rather than the apothecary, personally. But otherwise, your team is one of the 2 standard elf builds. I like the theme. Puns make me happy.
And even the stupid German got them, yeah? So this team is amazing.
So yes and no. So, like almost all Bash teams, they're not great, to start with. Hard bash teams, other than undead, really, they're not great at removing things. Like, he has full AV8. He's as tough as you can be for an elf team. And only one team starts with Mighty Blow that he's going against. So he'll probably, in 2 games, have enough to buy an Apothecary. He probably won't lose any players. If he does, if he loses some line elves, it's not a big deal. Something as a elf coach that you have to realize is that you're going to be having loners all the time. Your linemen are sacrificial lambs to your blitzers and catchers.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, don't pretty much every line elf, like, they're stupidly good for what their loner cost is?
I mean, they're 70,000, so they're super expensive. Don't get me wrong. Like, but 6,348 is an amazing stat line. Like, elf teams don't care about their line elves. They don't have Apo rights. The only thing on this team that has Apo rights is his 2 blitzers. I don't even care about the thrower, honestly. Like, the thrower is nice, but he's not necessary.
Yeah, basically every elf team I've played against in every league so far, they've had at least one loner, and that loner has still been just as good as his entire rest of the team at shutting me down on handoff, passing, and then running 50 feet away on the.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. So the whole point of this start is you have a thrower, he throws to the blitzer scores. You lather, rinse, and repeat this until you bought your Apothecary and you have enough money to buy a catcher. Then you buy a catcher, you slap that in there, and then hopefully by that time, both of your blitzers have leveled once or twice each. So one will be Blodge, and maybe one will be like Blodge Guard. And then that catcher, you can start putting SPP on him. And by the time you have enough money to purchase another catcher, that catcher should have 1 or 2 levels. And you keep just going down the list. Sure, bad things happen. Sometimes you'll lose a blitzer to a mix next game. But otherwise, it's not too big of a deal. You save your Apos for your positionals. And your thrower is just a more expensive line elf on defense, typically. So he's not that important.
And to all the guys out in this division, if you lose against this guy, it's agility 4, it's cheating anyway, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's not that
Agility
bad.
4 is hard, especially as a new coach. You're going to notice that Agility 4 is hard to deal with sometimes. There's these things called elf bullshit. It's where someone just takes an elf, clicks on the ball, and clicks away, and you see like a 5+, 3+, 4+, 3+ pickup, 2+ dodge, 2+ GFI, 2+ GFI. And he has to roll like 10 different dice, and he just passes every single one of them.
Doesn't even need to use his team reroll. He probably doesn't even have a
Well,
team reroll.
typically that's because dodge is in play. But yeah, everybody will see that happen against them with elves, including other elf players. It's just par for the course for elf play. Next we have Mr. Malgarath and his dedicated players. I like the pun. And these are all ways to get
I don't
buried,
get
it
the
looks
player
like.
names.
Or like have to do with corpses. I like his build. 2 ghouls, 2 whites, 2 mummies, 3 zombies, 2 skeletons. Perfect. You have your 2 skeletons for dirty player. Grab wrestle on your zombies. Or block. Or dirty player, depending on how kill-tacular you're feeling. But yeah, pretty standard team. Like Sepulcher, Ossuary, Rigor Mortis. It all has stuff to do with dead. Like Lazarus is the biblical person. Cain, first murder. It's not a super well put together theme, but it is a theme.
So wait, a friend of mine is called Sandy. So this is something which
I
has
don't
to
know
do
what the
with
Sandy does. I'm not aware of what Duna and Sandy are, but the rest I understand. But yeah, pretty standard and correct undead team. And to touch on, maybe Trunk, to touch on what you said, Gate, like, so that's the only team that starts with Mighty Blow out of all of these. Like, sure, there's a claw here, but you know, Yeti's, or if he rolls a 1 in 9 on his Yeti, he's kind of screwed. Chaos and Lizardman have Strength 4, but they don't have Block or Mighty Blow. Necromantic have 2 Wolves with Claw, but they're Frenzy and can easily get Frenzy trapped. That's why you're not too worried in a fresh league about the Apothecary. Sure, bad things can happen. Chances are typically more in your favor as long as you protect the 2 Blitzers, that you don't need it. Alright, last team. Codoferis and Cool Dudes. I don't know who these cool dudes are. No ogre. I'm so sad. This is a 5 fan factor team. I suggest removing the 5 fan factor Codoferis if you watch this later or if you are here right now. You only need 1 thrower. 2 sure hands is overkill. Start with 4 blitzers. If you don't want an ogre, just start with 1 catcher and the rest linemen. But you
I will say,
need
Justin,
a
do you want to
blitzer.
explain kind of what a frenzy trap is?
Yeah, I can explain what a frenzy trap is. It's hard to explain without showing, but basically a frenzy trap is, let's say, let me go back to the Necro real quick. So your werewolf has strength 3, and you base a white next to the strength 3, and you blitz with the werewolf, hitting that other strength 3 to make yourself strength 4. Well, let's say you get 2 pushes, and there's someone behind that strength 3 that you hit, and when you push, you have to follow. So now there is someone assisting the enemy's block against you. So now you, instead of getting a 2 die, you get a 1 die. Or sometimes there'll be 2 people assisting then, and it goes from a 2 die to a half die, which is the 2 red dice. And that's not always good.
Very
Sometimes
rarely good.
sometimes it's okay, like if you're blitzing something that doesn't have block and it goes from a 2 die to a 1 die and you have block as a werewolf, it's a 2+, you're fine. Most of the
It is
time.
definitely something you need to watch for as a new coach.
Yeah.
Like, even as dwarves with my 2 frenzy pieces I had, I still had about 4 games of, oh no, I didn't account for not getting a POW on my first block, and now I'm red dying. And, oh hey, thankfully block saved me, but it could have easily gone bad.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the human team. Fan factor, you don't want your team to be popular, is basically the best way to put it. Because that's 50 TV that could be used to buy a babe instead. But yeah, get a 4th blitzer is my opinion. I don't personally start with catchers on my human team, but if you want to start with a catcher, that's completely fine. I understand that. You have a
Well, human catchers are
12-person
like,
roster. Get rid of a thrower. Get rid of a catcher. Buy a blitzer. And I think you would have enough to buy an apothecary if you did that.
so this is kind of a human Skaven team, right?
Yeah. You definitely don't need 2 throwers, though. It's a little much. But yeah, overall, this division is also pretty bash based. Less bash based than AMA. AMB has for non-bash Bretts, dwarfs, high elves, and humans. So 4 instead of 3. I don't consider dwarfs bash. I don't really consider lizardmen bash either, but they're more bash than dwarfs in the long run, at
I'm
least.
surprised you're saying dwarves aren't bash.
They're not. They're control.
I could see it. They're
So
bashy
what makes
too, but
This
still
is
control, yeah.
incredibly true, Midas, and you'll notice that that is also incredibly true when you get to majors as well. Europe also is pretty bashy as well, but college-wise, typically there's more elf in the European divisions and more bash in the American divisions.
It
so
felt like we had at least 2 elves in each division last college season in Europe. We're a lot of elves.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I've only seen 2 elf teams so far. AMC, another 9 out of 10. That's pretty impressive, honestly. Good lord, more bash. Lizard,
so
min,
what
Kimmery,
differentiates
high elf, human, chaos, undead, necromantic, orc, Norse. What were you saying?
what differentiates a control team versus a bash team? What's your difference there?
Okay, so for example, a great way to point this out is like chaos right here. Chaos has everybody on a strength. Everybody is available with strength access, which means every single one of their pieces can get guard. But none of them start with block, and none of them really. Most players won't go for a control chaos team. They'll go for a kill chaos team. And what makes a kill team different from a chaos team is your priorities. If you prioritize guard, you're a control team. If you prioritize mighty blow and claw and piling on, you're a kill team. So chaos warriors will get block guard typically first, and maybe 1 or 2 of them will do block mighty blow claw. But your beastmen are basically all going to be taking block mighty blow, tackle, block mighty blow, claw, piling on. The purpose of chaos is to remove the other team from the pitch. And a team like dwarfs, every single piece except for the runners and troll slayers will take guard first, which makes them a control team because they have strength 3, but a high TV dwarf team, everyone has guard except your troll slayers and runners. So that's 8 or 7 guard on the team, which makes it hard to knock them down, basically.
I do think the only reason that dwarves tend to go guard like they do is simply because the strength difference of strength 4 on technically 5 players on Chaos's turn versus not having any strength 4 on the dwarf team.
And that's basically it.
Gotcha.
The Lizardmen, for example, are another team that is considered control. So the reason why they're control, though, is because they have 6 strength 4s and a strength 5. They're the highest strength output team in the game. The only problem is that they start with 0 skills. They don't have mutation access, so they're really hard to at high TVs to keep alive. Because with agility 1, they can't really get away easy or anything like that. But the reason why I think that they are more bashy than dwarfs is because of all the strength 4, and typically you will have 2 to 4 Saurus at higher TVs with Mighty Blow. I like to build a killer Saurus personally, which is block, Mighty Blow, tackle, piling on. Not everybody agrees with me on that, but yeah. The premier control teams are Lizardmen and Dwarves.
Or you say screw it and go Mighty Blow first for a faster SPP gain on
People have done that.
Sorry, and that kind of works as well. Not all of the time. I'm not saying you should do that. I would do that, yeah. But it can be amazing and it can screw you.
I've seen that
Usually
work,
screws you.
but then you're praying
I
for
will
no
say-
1 in 9s.
Yeah, the 1 in
Exactly.
9 is very real. Like, one thing dwarves have spoiled me on, and you definitely notice when you go to something like Saurus, 1 in 9 happens more often than you would think for a 1 in 9 odds.
It
Like, it is
happens
very
about
easy
1
to
out of
get
9
the
blocks.
results.
Yeah, and you throw a lot of blocks with Lizardmen, right? So
Yeah, no, that's the problem, because they are a control/bash team, just like Chaos Warriors, and they suffer because they have no block. The only reason why Lizardmen are actually considered a good 1000 TV team is because they just have so much more strength than everyone. They can easily outstrength everything, and their skinks have movement 8 stunty dodge, which means they 3+ dodge out of everything. So they can score very quickly. See, that's correct, Sparkles. That's how you should assume
Like,
your 1 in 9s work.
you always want to fear the blitz on a lizard team that has a movement 9 skink.
Yeah. But just in general, lizards are considered a very good low TV team just because of the skinks. They're very mobile. 6 move, 8 move. Everything can move around the pitch very well. It's just generally a very good team. Unfortunately, they do fall off at high TV because of kill teams. Like, Chaos will destroy a lizard team, and once a lizard team starts falling behind in an internal league, they get really hard to keep up because it's not easy to build up another Saurus quickly because he starts with 0 skills. And with 1 agility, it's hard to feed him touchdowns as well.
Oh, it's only a 4 up. Or no, 5 up. It's only a 5 up.
Well, you're at normal noise now. I'm gonna turn you
So I
back
figured
down.
out that apparently if I have my phone set to speakerphone, it tries to use my phone mic instead of my headset mic.
Interesting.
So I was like, I was hearing y'all just fine, and I had my mic set where it should be picked up correctly. But turns out it wasn't actually even using the mic.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does, but that just means that mobile Discord is even crap.
Yeah, it's not very good. But yeah,
Time to bring my computer.
Bread Ball, Ogre Smasher. His team is Bread. I love Bread. It's a good team theme. I like it. I don't understand Pain. I hope I have get some clarification on how that came to be later. Is it? Interesting. I had no clue. Okay, Pain is French for bread. But yeah, good team, standard build. Nothing funny. Next will be Kimmery, the Spliffs Cat Bus. I think he named his after strains of weed.
oh yeah, you did. Wait, sorry. Screw me.
Yeah, Cat Bus with his team of weed. I only knew it because of White Widow and Granddaddy
I
Purple and
googled it,
OG
obviously.
Kush, you know. Like, some of these are well known, and Pineapple Express.
He's my favorite, by the way, out of this division.
This is an awesome theme. But yeah, very
Wonder what made them
standard.
choose weed of all things.
This is a very standard, and in my opinion, the correct build path for Kimmery. 4 Tomb Guardians, 2 Blitz Raws, a Throw Raw, 5 Skeletons. Good to go. try a carry on the blitz raws. If you have to, use the throw raw. Yeah, great theme, very funny. I assume most people will get it.
I'm honestly curious as to what made him choose a weed of all things. Like, if it was wood elves, I would kind of get. But Kimmery, like, how do you get the jump from Kimmery to weed?
I mean, you know.
I mean, I did this with dwarfs, and I named them gardeners with
Okay.
a big lawnmower, and
There you go. UKMHZ.
Though I can see the joke with dwarves saying getting stoned.
I mean, it really,
oh, that's good.
really though, like, mummies are rolled up tight. You know, that's a good one in general. It doesn't really have to be woodies. If you want to make a theme about different strains of weed, but don't like to play else, you can put it on any
That is
team.
fair. This is true.
Next we have High Elves, the Fire Talons by Animalist. He did the other start, the 2 blitzers, 2 catchers, a thrower, and some linemen. I don't get his theme. He who dyes the veil red, rippling mirror. Yeah, I don't understand. I'm sure someone gets it. I would get rid of the coach assistant. It's not necessary. Keep your 10k. Hopefully roll a 4. Get an apothecary first after the first game.
I mean, one could argue that get an assistant and a cheerleader for the kickoff events, but yeah, no, get the Apple first.
Yeah, you're Agi
Yeah.
4. Usually you
Exactly.
don't need more than 2 rerolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cheerleader coach assistant, I've heard, like, for medium TB teams, like, it's a good way to get that slight bit of extra advantage, but you 100% want that free reroll from death more than you do a +1 reroll.
I mean, if you do a zero reroll start, then starting with a cheerleader and coach assistant makes a lot of sense.
But why would you do that?
Some teams do it. There is in majors a guy who decided to start 0 reroll Nurgle.
Does he hate himself?
I mean, he started with 4 Chaos or Nurgle Warriors, a Beast of Nurgle, and 4 Pestigors. And he somehow won, like, 4 games now. He did pretty well.
That is actually impressive.
Actually, it's
My-
Ravenpoe. So if you guys have ever read the Reddit posts about the
Best
Goblin
guy
coach,
ever.
Oh, he's a goblin coach. That explains everything.
Yeah. But he is the guy who made all the Reddit posts about teams on /r Blood Bowl and giving his
Yeah,
opinion
I know
on how to
exactly what
build.
you're talking about, and that explains it.
And yes, there's the 0 reroll Ogre team as well.
There's also the 0 ogre
Yeah,
team,
the
but
Let's
we don't
Talk
actually
Abouts.
consider those viable.
That's Ravenpoe. And he went 0 reroll Nurgle, and I, in my recap, with said that was a silly start, and then he made fun of me when he won, which was fair. So next we have Assassin 416 with War Guardians. He is, what is his team? Okay, he started with 3 rerolls, 2 throwers, 2 catchers, an ogre, and 2 blitzers. That's weird. Get rid of your 1 thrower, get rid of 1 catcher, buy 2 blitzers. And get rid of a lineman. That's my opinion on that. Like, no reason. 2 throwers is bloat. You only need 1. Because otherwise he's just a lineman. Like, if you're not using the thrower, to hold the ball. He's just a lineman at that point. There's no real reason. You don't need two sure hands. You want to specify your SPP on one thrower so you can get block as fast as possible. I typically don't start with catchers, but if you want to start with the catcher, that's fine. Just you only really need one. The most important thing about humans is to have all 4 of your blitzers. It's the most important thing. So you should definitely try to make sure you have 4 blitzers.
Yeah, get the MVPs as fast as possible on the blitzers.
Yeah, they are the heart and soul of your team. War Guardians. I don't understand the theme, so hopefully someone will explain it to me in the future. A lot of things I don't get for this one.
I think this one might be default.
Yeah, these might be
About
defaults,
how many teams
honestly.
do we have left? I actually can't see the stream right now.
For this one, I think I have 2 more divs, honestly.
Oof. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to drop here in just a minute. Gonna
Yeah,
go
that's
do
fine.
a house showing. Yeah, that was kind of awkward because I thought the stream was gonna be yesterday, and it was just a situation of oh no.
Yeah,
That's why I was driving for the last hour.
that's no worries, man.
Thanks
Glad
for
to have
having
you.
me. I'm definitely interested in doing this more.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be this bad in the future weeks, but I will get with y'all later on that.
I
Have a
love
good
the
one, man.
truck driving thing. That was amazing.
I mean, my dad was a truck driver. I could probably refresh myself on the lingo. Breaker 29. We got a blitzer. It's got some cast.
That
Build the
would be
GFI.
amazing.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Have a good one, Gio. Alright, so, by the way, this is a good time for me to mention that if any of you guys who are watching or will be watching in the future are interested in recapping a division, just send me a PM. I'm CT Jester. I don't mind if you message me at any time, really. If you're interested, I'm more than happy to have you on the stream so you can get a taste of how to do recapping. My plan is to hopefully spread out every single division with someone from the college coaches to recap their divisions, and you guys have your own community that you can help build that goes into minors. I'm here to help as much as I can. I'm a moderator, so hopefully we can make this as much fun as possible for everyone involved. Pez Machine will be taking over a div in the future. He's one of the college coaches. I know Sappho T showed interest as well. So if any of you guys are interested, please tell me, and I can help set you guys up on doing recapping in the future.
We won't bite. Join us. It's fun.
Yeah. But yeah.
Even if Jester's opinion is completely wrong about most big guys, but whatever.
I'm just a curmudgeon. No fun. Gridiron host Gate 28. It was next. He is doing a standard chaos build. 7 beastmen, 4 chaos, 3 rerolls. Nothing special. Gridiron host. He's named all of his players after hosts. Football, American football. I like it. Should have a Tony Romo in there. Yeah. I like the theme. It's not original. They're pretty common, honestly, the football themes. But yeah, hopefully he will do well.
So it's chaos. In my opinion, it's one of the worst starting teams.
The only team that's worse is Nurgle.
Right.
Wait, did he misspell safety? Safety. You can fix that. You can just fire him and rehire him. Next we have Bajar, the Welcome to Zombocom. He went with default names.
I've seen that setup before.
Yeah, well, this one's slightly different. Instead of a 12-person team, they decided to go with 3 ghouls, 2 whites, 2 mummies.
No, wasn't it an AMA? The same setup in AMA?
It was slightly different. It was 2 ghouls
Okay.
instead of 3. Then you get 1 more skeleton, and you have a little bit of leftover money. But yeah, this is also an acceptable start. 3 ghouls, 3 zombies, a skeleton, 2 whites, 2 mummies. Default names, shame on you. But yeah, undead are a lot of fun. At lower TVs, they can even be a lot of fun. Higher TVs, if you get lucky with levels. Good luck. I don't get the name. It sounded like he had a theme in mind, but then gave up. Next we have Necro, VB Longneck with UKMHZ, and yeah, very standard and correct start in my opinion as a Necro coach. 2 wolves, 2 flesh golems, 2 whites, 5 zombies. This is the I'm playing for development rather than winning strat for Necro. You don't start with a ghoul, so you don't have wasted SPP on a ghoul. Yeah, I wouldn't Sparkles, but you know, some people would. I don't really get the theme until leaking Julian Assange. I'm guessing there's.
They're all Australians.
Are they?
I think so.
I'll have to take a look at that video later. But I have it copied. But yeah, I understand that there is a theme here. But yeah, good luck. Necro is my favorite team. And next we have Paradox Crusader with Orcish
Let's hope that
Bungles.
this guy has a troll.
Yay!
You're a good one, Paradox Crusader. I love you. You're a good guy. You're a good one. You understood the game.
So he decided to drop a reroll, and to afford. You don't need the Gabo. See, the troll is there to kill things. He has Mighty Blow. This is one of the starting builds. I don't agree with it, but you know, a lot of people like a moped does. I think he used default names, so that's a little sad. But the troll should be fun. It'll either go great for him or it will be awful. We will see in the future. Yeah.
The troll is going to do nothing, and he's going to die after game 2. But at least you got a troll in your team, and this is nice. You did something very good. You made me proud.
Yeah. Every single Norse team has had the Yeti so far. I'm amazed at that. But it's also a lot of fun. We've already looked over Queen9 before.
Yeah,
but yeah, he went with the maximize rerolls and appos. Start with the Yeti, 2 Wolves. And then later buy a Berserker, a Runner, and then another Berserker. It is a pretty good idea, in my opinion. He gets a game or two to try and develop the Olsen Yetis. And yeah, it's a fun team. I do like the start. It is a bit of a weird start, but it is probably one of my favorite themes, the Frozen Isle.
Yeah, theme is nice, but I still think I would drop the Apo to get another positional. Maybe is there enough money for two?
Yeah.
Now,
Well, you
it is
can.
enough money for two, right? When you drop the Apo.
No. You would get 60k. 70.
Yeah, it is.
You would be able to get one. You would be able to get a Berserker.
Or two run. Isn't the runner 70? So he could also get two runners.
He would be at 120k, I want to say. So no, unless if the runners were 60k, but I'm pretty sure runners are 70.
Yeah, you drop one reroll plus you drop two linemen, which means you got 160, which means you can spend 70 for 140 for two, right? Or am I doing math wrong? Oh no, it's 50 apples. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. I'm just stupid as hell.
Yeah, drop
I'm
the
a Stunty
Epo.
coach. What do I know? I'm sorry.
But yeah, I would drop a lineman for the Berserker. See, chat is, showing you pity, Moped.
Yeah, math is hard. So.
Alright, yeah, and that's this division. I think we have two more. But yeah, so this one is pretty bashy as well. A lot of bash. I feel bad for every single Norse team we see. Yeah, that's true, Midas. You can't judge him too harshly. Is that... Yeah, two more. 7 out of 10 teams accepted for this one, so we won't be able to cover them all of them. Our first Skaven team. Wow. Okay. Two Bretonian teams: Undead, Norse, Necromantic, Chaos. So we have 4 Bash and 3 non-Bash so far. Let's take a look at the Boomtown Rats by RetroWiz. You went with a Roger start.
I like him.
That.
I don't like one Storm Vermin, but I like the Rat Ogre.
Get rid of that Apo. You don't need it.
Yeah. Get rid of that Apo, get another Storm Vermin.
Get your Storm Vermin. It's so important. Like, you have to have that second Storm Vermin. Like, get rid of the thrower. Like, you're going with a Roger start. Don't start with the thrower. Get 2 Storm Vermin, 3 Gutters, some linemen. You can afford it. You really only need 2 rerolls. Skaven work great with 2 rerolls because you're really only blocking with your Storm Vermin. You're trying to minimize basing as much as possible, and your Gutters have dodge to get out of harm's way with movement 9. You're gonna struggle with only 2 Gutter runners. Try and have 3, and your 2 Storm Vermin. It's the best way to do it. It looks like he gave up on his theme partway through.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, no, that's way too much work. I stop here now.
Rich cut, Ned, left, right, hands. Nisto of Mordheim. Licked. I mean, I guess. You know. They're just going to die a horrible death anyway. But yeah, general thing. Your positionals are the most important thing on Skaven, just like elves. Everything else, including your thrower, unless if it gets to like actual good levels and gets stat ups, they're worthless. They don't matter. They are fodder to be sacrificed to keep your Storm Vermin and Gutter Runners, mostly your Gutter Runners, alive. I personally like to build the Rat Ogre, Juggernaut, Break Tackle. When the Rat Ogre dies, he dies. Don't Apo him, you know. it's whatever. The Rat Ogre is 100% there to help start your team up in a good way. He's there to take hits, cause havoc, and to be a somewhat reliable pillar once he has Juggernaut for blitzing and to getting into things. But yeah, you have to have your 2 Storm Vermin, at least.
So this time I completely agreed to Jester, which probably means it is completely wrong. But no, it's completely right. Yeah.
I like the Rat Ogre. I don't think it's the best start, mind you, but I like the Rat Ogre.
Yeah, if you want to take him, then please take the other positionals as you said, because you really need them. You need them, and you need to develop them as early as possible, as fast as possible.
Yep. Yeah, your Storm Vermin need to be developed as fast as possible, and so do your Gutters.
Yeah.
It's super important.
And for a new coach, it can be hard enough to level those positionals. Just those. It can be hard enough, to be fair.
So next we have Nuffin Nuffle 11, We the Dead, and he has auto-named his team. It's a standard undead team. 2 mummies, 2 whites, 3 ghouls, 4 zombies. No skeletons. I respect that, but I don't think it's correct. I like 1 skeleton at least. Yeah, very standard. 3 rerolls, nothing fancy.
Not does he only have standard names, not a single skeleton.
Yeah.
This makes me so sad. this is making me real sad.
Yeah. The movement 5 is incredible, more helpful than you'll think. For later down the line. All right. So next we have Bretonians. I'm assuming they're both going to have the same build. The Dreamboat Brigade. Okay, Rick Astley. All right. He has a theme. I wouldn't call them dreamboats, but
I don't understand the constellation. Can you explain that to me? I don't get it.
The what?
The whole constellation. What all about this is the dreamboat.
Well, someone might have some very weird references in Min. I personally would not find Pope John Paul II as a dreamboat. Bit disgusting.
Exactly. This is so weird.
And Rick Astley, it's like, okay. Yeah, it's a standard Bretonian team. The theme made me laugh at least. Maybe he's going for that, But yeah, very
it's
standard.
So weird. It's giving me goosebumps, but it's funny, yeah.
Are they straight hotties, K-Man? I don't know. Next we have Pez Machine. Your Bretts. You started with 4 blitzers, 4 blockers, 3 linemen, a coach assistant, and a cheerleader. I'm not a big fan of coach assistant cheerleader at the start, but I understand, and it's not a terrible decision in all honesty. You have 2 rerolls, so having a better chance to get that reroll through kickoff events is not a bad idea.
I don't think you needed that much with Bretts, so better get the 20 in the bank, so you just need 30 for the Apple.
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Use everything.
The Bridgemen. I don't get your theme completely. I'm guessing these are famous Bridgemen or something.
It's from a book series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's it. And the cheerleader and the coach assistant, I was kind of on the fence about going it. I was just using all my cash, so
Yeah, you're more than welcome to start below 1,000 TV. That's not a problem. I would keep the money because if you're anything like me, you'll have terrible luck with your Bretonians, and they will die very often. And you want an apothecary as fast as possible. Because let's say you lose your first game, but roll a 3 on your winnings, then you have enough for an apothecary. If you win and you roll 1, like, you could still have gotten enough to get your apothecary.
that makes sense.
Because the Apo is very important to get.
It really is, because if you lose something like a blitz early on, oh man,
Yeah.
it takes a long time getting these 110k back.
The Apo helps cover that. Like, let's say one of your blitzers gets a minus strength put on him, you're going to want to Apo that in your first game immediately, because otherwise you have to fire him. And, you know, if the Apo works and sends him to the subs, great. If he loses an agility or a movement, that's still okay for your blitzers. It's not the end of the world for them. But minus AV or strength is kind of like nail in the coffin. It's time to fire him.
What's your opinion about niggling?
Early? Sure.
Yeah.
No problem. Fire him. If he is like 2 or 3 levels, I'll probably keep him.
Okay, because that's what I do as well, and I think this is the right thing to do after he got some skills, right?
Because, you know, if you have a blitzer that has like dodge, mighty blow, tackle, and he gets niggled, you keep him. He's still an incredibly good player. Like, I have mighty blow tackle blitzer that got minus 8 agility, and he's still on my team.
Who cares about agility, right?
He can't dodge out after punching something, but you know, oh well.
Yeah, but he's killing something, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, so next we have Giraffe Shepherd, Warmer Places. I like this theme as well. This one's pretty cool. Because Norse are, you know, in the tundra. And so his players are named Bahamas, Florida, Sahara, Death Valley. That's pretty cool. I like that theme. This is the first one that chose not to do a Yeti start. And I do think this is actually the best start on a Norse team.
It's at least the most reasonable Berserker, start, yeah.
2 runners, 3 rerolls. 20k for an Apo for the first game. You can be in really good position. If nothing dies by the time, yeah, 1 runner. You don't need more than 1.
You don't want more than 1 because you again have way too many players who need SPP. Who need the touchdowns. At least in my opinion, that was a problem for me with my Norse. Too many positionals who need to get the SPP with touchdowns, and it's hard. It's hard to feed them all the touchdowns.
Yeah, so you get 1 runner. Once he gets like 2 or 3 levels, you know, then buy a second runner. That's fine. The extra movement is very helpful. The thrower is absolutely worthless, and never buy him. But yeah, like for Norse, after like 4 or 5 games, if you haven't lost any positionals and you have enough money, you buy a Yeti and put it on this team, and you're in a very good position as Norse to bully people.
To be fair, even if I'm maybe the biggest fan of big guys, and I love big guys, after 1 season of college, I would do this start as well and do exactly what you said. Get a Yeti later on, but do exactly this start. That would be my game after 1 college season of Norse and what I learned there. And the Yeti is not reliable enough to have him in your team early on.
Yeah. Yeah, you get the Yeti after 4 or 5 games if you're lucky. Otherwise, maybe, you know, I mean, if you're really lucky, it might just be 3 or 4. But get the Yeti if you can. if this team stays healthy enough to get a Yeti and gets good development, it's going to be a force to reckon with. Because
Oh yeah.
this team only needs to buy one positional for it to be basically considered a complete team. Everybody who started with a Yeti still needs to buy 2 Berserkers and a runner, basically. They have
Yeah,
to
that's the
spend
point.
so much more money.
And this guy just needs what is that? 140k plus the Apple, so you just need 190k, right?
Yeah, which if he wins some games, he can easily get.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. If he don't lose his
he's at
players,
30k,
that's no problem.
so 1 game, he has his Appo. 2, 3 more games, he has a Yeti.
Yeah. If he doesn't lose his players, that should be.
I mean, if
easy
you
to
lose
get.
linemen, big whoop.
No one cares, right?
Yeah, like if you lose a positional, it's kind of bad. I would be fine with still getting Yeti if I lost 1 Berserker. I would not be fine without a runner because that movement 7 is pretty important in the long run. I would be up in the air if I lost an Elf Warner. I would have to talk with people to make my decision.
Yeah, I am completely with you there. I wouldn't care about 1 Berserker as well. I'm not sure about the Elves. I like the Elves, and not having both of them, that's hard, right?
Yeah, you really want block guard on them as fast as
Yeah.
possible. I think if I lost an Ulf and bought a Yeti, my first level on the Yeti would be guard.
Yes, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Or not if you have 1 or 2 or 3 linemen with guard, yeah. Schuster, but otherwise, yeah.
Alright, next we have Sterrigan, the Evil of the Thriller, who also went the correct build. 2 flesh golems, 2 werewolves, 2 whites, 5 zombies, 2 rerolls. I like it. It's perfect.
I love the theme.
The theme is awesome.
Man, I really love the theme. That's amazing. That's really good. That's really, really good.
Yeah. Excellent theme. I really like it. I'm a little jealous. His theme is better than mine. But yeah, it's...
Man, this is really good. Yeah, this is really good. I love that.
I'm rooting for Sterrig. It's not because of my necro bias.
Man, I'm singing all those player names while I'm reading them, right?
Yeah.
So before you click the Chaos team,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to make a guess. We're going to see 4 Chaos Warriors.
And 7 Beastmen? Why, I
Yes.
think you might be right. Let's take a look. Oh.
It's just a guess.
I mean, it gets a little repetitive talking over the same.
Yeah.
I feel bad not like discussing with the same amount of time as I did previous divisions. But since we don't have a schedule yet, I don't really have much more to say. It is the correct chaos start. Voidy, you used default names, and I am disappointed. I'm not mad, just disappointed. The Brass Citadel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Can look at stadium name.
I didn't even think about looking at the stadium. Thank you. But yeah, that's also that's just a standard one. The sponsor's Bloodweiser. Yeah.
And yes, human cheerleaders. Don't use human cheerleaders.
I use human
dwarf cheerleaders.
I don't like dwarf cheerleaders.
Please show us the stadium name of the Necros, please.
Okay.
Because the Necro theme is so good, let's have a good stadium name. As well.
Thriller Dome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like him.
That works. That's fine.
See, I typoed my stadium name on my Necromantic team and realized it at the start of this season and was sad. But yeah, that's AMD. They're not too. They're about half and half on Bash so far. I want to know what the next teams are. Hopefully, they'll accept their ticket soon. If you're reading this and haven't seen yourself being covered, accept your ticket, or otherwise you're probably going to get replaced by people who are signed up for reserve.
I think this will be a really, really touchdown heavy division. We
Yeah.
will see a lot of touchdowns in here.
And the last division, 7 out of 10 teams as well.
Hey, thanks for letting me sit. I had to bounce though.
Okay. Yeah, you have a good one, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good one.
Yep.
Nurgles. I like Nurgle. They
Yep.
stink. They smell.
Midas.
They're awesome.
You've been here the entire time, and we're finally covering your team.
Oh, it's Midas. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on
Warm,
to the
soft,
next
and
one.
juicy. Oh. I like it. I love the fact that you decided to add colors, and you made all the Rotters brown.
That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great theme. I like it. It's one of my favorites. 4 Chaos, 1 Pestigore, Beast of Nurgle, 5 Rotters, 2 rerolls. It's the Nurgle start.
It's the one and only start, right? It's the
Yeah.
one and only start after going full Rodders, but this is the other's full only start.
Yeah. Snot is pretty great. I'm personally a big fan of Nurgle. I don't play them a lot because Juicenheim.
That's great. That's great.
Well, hopefully he'll die then regen. You know. But yeah, great theme. I like the color too. It's very warm, soft, and juicy. Let's get knuckle deep. Hilarious. But yeah, to actually cover Nurgle a little bit more, since I think you might be the only Nurgle team so far.
Right, he's the first Nurgle team here, and
Yeah.
I really love to see Nurgle.
Yeah.
Beast of Nurgle, in my opinion, the best big guy in the game, or one of the best big guys.
I think a Beast of Nurgle is the best because you just start with. They're a roadblock. They have tentacles. You get hopefully block on them.
I love stand
We haven't seen
firm.
a single Nurgle going through AMA 2E so far. So if there's 2 Nurgle in this div, we'll get to them. But I think you might be the only Nurgle. A lot of chaos.
We had a lot of not full divisions, right? So maybe those are the Nurgle team that they haven't accepted their tickets.
Yeah. So Sparkles, the difference is they are very similar, but if you take a look at a Nurgle Warrior here, Nurgle Warriors start with Disturbing Presence, which about 3 squares within them. Anybody who tries to pass, catch, or intercept takes a -1 to their dice, and that stacks. Foul Appearance, if anybody tries to block a Nurgle Warrior and they roll 1, the block doesn't go through. They have Nurgle Rot, basically, which means if they kill something that doesn't have more than Strength 4 and doesn't have Decay, Regen, or Stunty, it becomes a Rotter. And they also have Regen, unlike Chaos. So they get a lot of skills at starting. They're more expensive, mind you, 110k, but and they are slower with less agility.
And that's the worst thing, in my opinion. You have -1 agility. You aren't able to do the ball handling. Or you aren't able to do good ball handling with those guys, where you can do ball handling with Chaos Warriors on the Chaos team.
Yeah. So the Nurgle Warriors have a lot more skills, but are slower and less agile. But otherwise, they're similar. And then your Pestigore is the exact same thing as a Beastman, but it has regeneration and Nurgle's Rot. So whatever it kills, it also makes Rotters. So the biggest difference, though, is Goatmen, or Pestigores for Nurgle, are the linemen of Chaos, but Rotters are the linemen of Nurgle, and they have Decay and no Regen, and this is important. So whenever Rotters get cast or get casualtied, they get 2 injuries, so they die very quickly. You don't get an apothecary on Nurgle either. Chaos does, but you have regen on all of your important pieces. Rotters don't get it, so it's pretty easy for Rotters to be just completely destroyed, and you just not have any Rotters. Yeah, and you
So
don't
you
have.
really have to get. Oh, sorry.
Yes, you get free Rotters. They cost 40k, so level you grab them dirty player, and they just foul things on the ground. Nurgle is the worst team in regards to bloat. They just and when they are the worst team at TV 1000, but when they start leveling, they just get so bloaty. It's very easy to see a good Necro team finally be considered good at like 1600 TV. Because he has to buy 3 more Pestigores in order to finish his roster.
Or let's say at least 2 to have a good one, right?
Yeah.
But you need at least 3 Pestigores. You
Mhm.
need them. You just need them.
You
There's
need a
one
killer,
Pestigore.
you need a carrier, and you need a sacker.
Exactly. And the start is so hard if you lose your Pestigore early on in the game. Man, this is just the worst.
Hmm.
Because ball handling is now down to a Rotter if you can't get another Pestigore. And Rotters are just the worst ball carriers ever. I mean, they can pick
They
up
have
the ball
agility
with
3,
agility
surprisingly.
3, right? But they are so slow, and yeah, they are just not good.
Hmm.
You don't want to level them. If they get a level, get 30 play or something like that, and that's it.
Hmm. Some people will grab like block finned on them. If they get a double, you still grab guard, but don't expect them to live long. Yeah, there's 2 Nurgle in this one. Nice. Yeah. So the next guy we have is Stalemate 666 with the Player Munchers. Gordon Ramsay, Jack the Ripper, son of Sam. Why is Gordon Ramsay with a
I love it.
whole
I love the
bunch
Gordon
of
Ramsay in there.
serial
I love
killers?
This is so good, man. This is so good. The player munches with the team captain Gordon Ramsay who's shouting at everyone. The meat is so raw. It's still walking. What should we? I love it.
This is great.
This is so good.
I was like, first click team roster, see Gordon Ramsay, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, player munchers. Then I just see serial killers and food.
This is so good.
And at the feeding bowl. Alright. That's a pretty great theme. Yeah, 6 Saurus, 1 Crocs, 4 Skinks, 2 rerolls. Perfect team. Great theme.
Standard roster, and that guy knows how to switch his players. It's even the roster's looking good, right?
Yeah. That's hilarious. Alright, next team, Quack-a-Mole with Foul Weather. With puns. Excellent. Yeah, Beast of Nurgle, 4 Nurgle Warriors, Pestigore, 5 Rotters, 2 rerolls. I like the puns. Kind of like with Nurgle, I'll go a little bit more into them. Beast of Nurgle, you probably want to grab, in my opinion, guard first, guard stand firm.
Stand firm, in my opinion, is the first skill, but it's just me. I have no idea. But I love
you
stand
really
firm
want
because
a
of the
doubles on
tentacles.
him. If you get a doubles
Yeah,
on a Beast of Nurgle, you get block and just so good. So much
That's
harder
true.
to push off of you. The only big guy that you actually want to take plus strength on, because he starts with tentacles.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Get plus strength if you can.
Mm-hmm. Your Nurgle warriors, all of them, you want block first. Your Pestigore, like to build my first Pestigore as a killer. Yeah, Stand Firm is really nice. I do like Guard more as a first skill. The Beast of Nurgle will level. But if someone was like, I want to take Stand Firm first, I would not tell them no. It's not a bad decision. I like to build my first Pestigore as a killer. I might be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong in this. I'm just greedy. I build my first Pestigore with Mighty Blow first, and then block. I want him leveled as fast as possible. I mean, if you roll agility or anything like that, it's great. Take that, of course, but I like to build my first Pestigore as a killer. And if you take Mighty Blow first, and then he rolls an agility up, you can take Wrestle as your next level if you want to transform him into a Sacker instead, but yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's like I let Nuffle tell me what my first Pestigore is going to be. Because after the first level, if I get something useful to make him a ball carrier or whatever, then I'm going for that. And otherwise, I do the exact same thing and build him a killer.
Yeah. Because as Nurgle, you want to remove people as fast as possible. And a killer helps so much in that. I've seen people do Mighty Blow Claw first as well.
And depends on your opponents. You could also do something like tackle at first skill if your division is full of dodge pieces or something like this. I wouldn't do that as well, but I've seen it.
I would see Mighty Blow tackle. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, I like personally is to do Mighty Blow, Claw, and then block, then tackle. Like, just sure. On a 1 in 9, I have to re-roll, but he can do so much just being a killer. Makes it to where if you go against like dwarfs or something like that, you can pretty reliably get an AV break on them with one of your players in the early game, and that's pretty important. Alright, next we have Kasuli with his Cuddly Crumpas.
You're doing it wrong, mate. You're doing it completely wrong.
Auto named.
No troll. I'm so sad.
Troll. Pretty standard. Get rid of the fan factor. You don't need it. 3 team rerolls, 4 black orcs, 4 blitzers, thrower, 2 linemen. Pretty standard. Fun co-field. A little sad with no actual theme, but that's okay. Next, we have another undead. A lot of undead this season. Like, my god.
Yeah, we've seen this roster before.
Yeah, pretty standard. No skeleton. A little sad about that, but otherwise, you know, pretty standard. Grim
standard names as well,
standard names. That's a little sad.
No skeleton and standard names
mound,
again.
very, very standard stadium name. And Sir Sparkles, the only Wood Elf team I've seen so far. The only non-High Elf team I've seen so far as well. So this is exciting. Wood Elves are a lot of fun. They are they score the most out of all Wood Elves. It's a lot of fun to play them. It's not so much fun to play against them unless if you get a lot of casts. And they have what I consider the best positional piece in the game, and that is the War Dancers.
I'm with you. I'm so with you. But you're lacking a tree.
Yeah. These are not autofilled names. Bad. I'm not sure what the theme is. Probably has something to do with the book. You're tempting Nuffle. I like that. The pitch. Yeah, 2 team rerolls, 2 War Dancers, a catcher, rest lineman. I agree with the build. A 0 reroll build is the only way to get a tree, and it is not worth it in an Eternal League. RuneScape elves. Okay, yeah. I haven't played RuneScape in 18 years.
So do you
Yeah, that's
stay with
never
one
worth it.
catcher?
You want to start with 2 ward answers. They're your most important pieces. This is the Eternal League start. I think it's the best start that you can get. I mean, the catcher has 8 strength. You put him in the back. He's your thrower equivalent. Where you use alignment. Their movement 7, so they're really good. Yeah. So for what else? The Sage, a really well-known streamer, plays them on OCC, and he recommends this start as well. And he gets I want to say he does get a tree first as his first purchase. He goes tree, thrower, catcher.
So you need a thrower for this team as well, right?
You can get a
Ah.
thrower. It's not super important. That's you get a tree as your first big purchase, mostly because it's just so helpful in reducing removal rates for your team because it starts strength 6. It's just a pillar, starts with stand firm, doesn't move around often. You can hide behind it. It's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah,
Apo, of
that's true.
course.
I love the tree. I
Apo,
mean, even
first, of course, Sparkles. But, yeah, so ward answers are your most important pieces. They're your killers, as well as your sackers. So typically people will go strip ball tackle or tackle strip ball on their ward answers. I like to go tackle first, and you can just activate a blitz, leap into a cage, attack it, and with strip ball, if you get a push, they drop the ball if they don't have sure hands, and it's really helpful. If they get a double, I like to give them Mighty Blow. If you roll like a strength up or an agility up, that's really good. Always take stat ups on your ward answers. I don't take move ups on ward answers. Your catcher, on the other hand, will take any stat up. He wants move, he wants strength, he wants agility. Strength, not as much as the rest, but if you can get him a move up on him, he is a very reliable one-turner at that point. But yeah, Wood Elves are a ton of fun. My favorite elf team is Pro Elves. My second favorite is Wood Elves. Not a single Dark Elf team so far.
that's right, not a single Dark Elf team.
Which is really
what's wrong with
surprising.
that? Yeah, they are pretty good.
There's actually videos and stuff. If you search Blood Bowl, this term in Google, there will be a fumble link on how to do one turns. It goes for lots of different teams, and it'll give you the basics on how to do it with pictures.
And if you want to try it out, there are challenges in Blood Bowl 2.
Yeah.
Where are actually, I think, 2 one-turn challenges. Is that right? I think there were 2.
Yeah, there's one with an elf team, if I remember correctly, and then there's
And one with
one
the
with
dwarf
dwarfs.
team. Man, that one with the dwarfs, that took me days.
I haven't even tried it. I was like, I don't want a one-turn with dwarves. That sounds awful.
Oh man, that's so fucking hard. You have to do like 6 pushes or something like that.
But yeah, this is the correct start for a Wood Elf team. Oh, we have an Elven Union team in here as well.
I like them.
I love Pro Elves. They're not as good as Wood Elves, but I like their Moxie.
Their
The Marsh
blitzers are
City
so
Slingers, Brandbone, Marsh City Stadium. I don't get his theme Marsh City Slingers part, but I do understand like Chuck Norris, Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh yeah. Pro Elves are the cheap elf team. They have 60k linemen. Fear them. It is 10k cheaper. Yeah, the Goose Springsteen. These are pretty funny names. But yeah, Blitzers just need one level for Blodge Step. Their catchers have nerves of steel. They do a lot of shenanigans. They're a lot of fun to play. He did the correct build. 3 rerolls, thrower, 2 catchers, 2 blitzers, a whole bunch of linemen. Brandbone, you want to develop those blitzers as fast as possible, just like every other elf team. Your blitzers are super important. Once they have, I personally take one with Blodge, and the other one I start with Tackle. At the end of the day, you want Blodge, Tackle, and then Diving Tackle on them. If they get any doubles, you take Guard. And then for your catchers, if you get a doubles, give them Mighty Blow. Otherwise, first skill dodge. And yeah.
Yeah, with dodge you can do so much, even more elven bullshit, right? That's
yeah.
so good. With nerfs of steel and dodge, this is so good.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is that if by the second level you don't roll a double, you can take wrestle on one of them, build one of them to be a sacker. They're 100k. They're actually kind of cheap for being a catcher.
Oh, that's a pretty clever idea. Yeah, right. I haven't even thought about that.
They have 8 movement. You take wrestle on them, and they're pretty good sackers at that point. So basically what you're looking for is you have 2 levels to roll a double. If you roll a double, you take Mighty Blow, and the next level is block. And then it becomes a lot easier for you to manage. You have a killer catcher, quote unquote. But otherwise, I like wrestle personally. Once you have 4 catchers, that is, I like wrestle on 2 of them. Typically, on my 2 catchers, I will build one as Blodge and the other as Raj. Wrestle, dodge.
So what's the first players you buy in this team?
Honestly, I don't really buy until I have development. You don't need another thrower. Can't buy more blitzers. I save my money. I buy an apothecary as fast as possible, and then once I have development on my 2 catchers, I'll buy a 3rd catcher.
Okay, yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Otherwise, I'll just keep my money. If linemen die, they die. They're not important. Apro rights, your catchers and your blitzers are your only Apro rights. If you want to build, if you want to have a lot like a bench, buy another lineman if you can, and you haven't had them killed horribly. Just buy another lineman, take a dirty player, line elf, and it's not too bad because it costs 60k compared to other elf teams.
Yeah, I've played against one of those pro elves, and I wasn't aware of fouling elves in college.
Oh no!
Oh lord! Oh lord!
Pro elves will
beating to my team, and I played Norse. You can imagine what happened to my team.
Yep.
Oh lord!
And it's like, well, it's safe to pile on here, and then one of the pro elf line elves run up to it and stomp on it, and you're like, wait, stop.
Yeah, exactly.
You're an elf. That's
like,
illegal.
What is he doing? yeah. You're not supposed to do something like this. Go away.
Yeah. But yeah, pro elves are a lot of fun. Wood elves are a lot of fun. They're my 2 favorite elf teams. Third being dark elves. High elves are the most vanilla and boring. But yeah, that's it for the stream, I guess. We've covered all of the divisions.
Wait, we made it? We already made it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's just been 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Without any scheduling. Dang.
But yeah, in general, thank you for coming to the pre-cap. Did I click on the wrong thing? Yeah, I did. We've covered all the teams that have accepted their tickets. If you are interested in recapping a div, your div, or someone else's div, just contact me and say you're interested, and I'll be sure to try and get you in on recaps as we go through the future. You have anything to say, Moped?
If you're scared too much about Jester, just contact me and
I'm not
no.
scary.
Oh no! Thanks for having me with you. It was a lot of fun here, and thanks all of you guys who stayed with us. Hope you guys had a lot of fun as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, join us on Discord if you haven't done already. Join REBBRL. Do it if you haven't done it already.
Yeah. Contact me or Moped if you want to join for recaps. We'll go through on how to do this again. More than happy to have 5-6 people with us. Anybody who's interested, even slightly. If you can't stream, someone else might be able to, and you're more than welcome to be a co-host. So feel free to watch out. I'll be posting the VOD of this and what is it called? Weekly recaps on the REBBRL Rookie League Discord. So you have a good one, and thanks for following. Have a good night.
Have a good one, guys.